Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 back at it with another video for you guys. And I'm back with another My Hero Academia review for you guys. And yes, it is here. It is out. The third movie of My Hero Academia, the most, I would say, highly anticipated movie to date of My Hero Academia for now, barring if there's any more movies. I know half the fan base, they don't want no more movies. And hold on a quick second, because I see something in my freaking corner that I want to kill. Okay, yeah, I had a little spider crawling. I had to kill it. But as I was saying, My Hero Academia World Mission Heroes is the next movie installment of the My Hero Academia franchise. And as I was saying, a lot of the fan base hope that it's the final movie we get. Now, originally, we were all led to believe, and even Horikoshi out said it himself, that after Heroes Rising, there would be no more My Hero Academia movies. But I feel like the reason why they made World Heroes Mission, the third movie of My Hero Academia, was one, Heroes Rising was like one of the most profitable and I would say highest box office theaters in terms of movies it made for anime, in terms of the anime industry of box office sales. It got, it was just crazy high. It was hitting like all-time record, highs, especially for the series. And that's really good. So I envision that Studio Bones was like, we made a lot of money off of Heroes Rising. I know we said we were going to make another movie, but fudge, we might as well make another movie and make even more money, because we know people are going to see it regardless of how they feel about the movie and how, it impacts the season. And that was the number one ongoing thing a lot of fans of My Hero Academia during season 5 said, the fact that, oh, they're wasting this season for a movie and stuff like that. Why did they have to make a movie during season 5? And if you go to my season 5 reviews, especially middle part of the season, I made the mention of how those people, I think, are just being a little bit overcritical and a little bit too, I guess you can say, you're being a little bit, you're getting your expectations too damn high, and maybe you're just overrating this whole thing, because the same people that said, oh, this movie is going to get in the way of production of season 5 said the same thing about Heroes Rising and how it was going to get in the way of the production of season 4, which, yes, it did. Yes, the same can be said for season 5 as well, but did it really hurt it? No. The only thing about season 5 I said I have an issue with is just the pacing and the management of content they put in episodes. Other than that, I thought season 5 was a solid season. It wasn't as bad as everybody made it out to be. And 2, I felt like the movie had no just bearings with it. Yes, is movie production and kind of cut a little bit into production of the anime? Yes, that makes obvious sense. But guess what? The same thing here is this. The same people complaining about this are the same people that are going to give up or fork over $12 to buy a ticket to go see this movie in their local movie theater, and they're going to be the same people buying popcorn and wasting all their damn cash or all their money, and they end up going out of the watching this damn movie because, oh, it's My Hero Academia and I love My Hero Academia, when you're the same people who are criticizing the damn anime because, oh, we can't have no more movies during freaking seasons. Well, then why do you freaking keep going back to theaters and forking over your hard-earned cash to go watch these damn movies? Oh, wait, it's My Hero Academia. That's your BS excuse. Again, I call out the freaking people who try to rip on My Hero Academia, who are fans of the series, who just say nonchalant BS things. And if you want to go against me, you're more than welcome to go against me. Listen, that's fine. That's fine. I'm perfectly cool if you had problems with the season. Don't say this stuff has bearings on a season of My Hero Academia, but yet you're the same people going into the damn movie theaters to go watch this damn movie when you said you wanted nothing to, you hope this movie had nothing to do, but your excuse, but it's My Hero Academia, I have to go see it. If you were really gun-ho about it, you wait for the movie to come out on DVD and wouldn't even think about seeing the movie in theaters. But it is what it is. First things first, let me say this. This movie is great. This movie was fantastic. And listen, I don't care again what the haters freaking say and stuff like this. This movie was good. Now, obviously the thing is this, is it better than the second one? I don't know right now. A fun fact, I'm actually going to see this movie again on Sunday. So maybe after seeing this movie again, maybe I'll have a better thought on my thoughts on Heroes Rising versus World Mission. Um and from the standpoint, what do I think is better? I think after after I've seen the movie and kind of seeing it out of the theaters, I thought it was better. But then, I was driving and then I was like, you know what? I'm actually, I love this movie, but I still feel like I like Heroes Rising a bit more. Again, I'm gonna see it maybe a second time showing, and stuff like that to get my thoughts. But I still do like this movie, and things like that. But in terms of how I'm gonna structure this review, I'm gonna talk about non-spoilers, and then I'm gonna get into the spoilers section. Obviously, I will give a spoiler warning. It will be a little clip video where it says spoiler alert, spoiler alert. It's just like how I handle my regular movie reviews. So in terms of for my non-spoiler review, like I said, I thought the movie was great. I had a blast seeing this movie, and it was very fun, high octane type of movie. And let me just tell you, out of the three movies, this movie has the best animation, and it's the most visually stunning out of the three movies. Out of Two Heroes, Heroes Rising, World Heroes Mission is the most visually stunning and has the best animation in the film. Like there's many times in this film, like the animation was spot on, and the animation was freaking great. So that's one thing you can expect. The animation not dropping a dead beat. It's great. The fights I think are all great in their own ways. Now there's some fights I prefer other than some fights. But I still think all the fights are great. And like I said, the animation was great. A shocker to this movie is the fact that this movie was very, and when I mean gory, it was very gory. When I say they show a lot of blood, they show characters gushing blood out. Like seriously. Um, you know, you can see it in the trailer, but the trailer doesn't do enough service. When Deku's obviously fighting the main villain, Fleck Turner, when I'm telling you, there's a part in this fight, Deku is on the freaking ground and he's in his own puddle of blood. I'm telling you, man, it was crazy. I was actually shocked with how gory this movie was and how much blood they shown, especially from the standpoint they censored My Hero Academia and the anime a hell of a lot. They maybe allow a little bit of blood in My Hero Academia, the TV show anime, but they make sure they censor some of the more gory aspects. Here they're like, you're getting gory stuff. You're getting gory stuff. You're seeing blood and everything. And it's like, oh, so I'm guessing with the movies, you have no ill wills, you have no barriers you have to stop at. They literally went in as if it was like the manga, because the manga can get pretty damn gory itself, because the manga has no restrictions. It just can't get too gory, but it's gory enough where you're like, ooh, I wonder if they're going to show this in the anime. But here in this movie, it was definitely gory. I like Deku. I thought Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo were all great in this film. I thought all their fights were wonderful in this film. Rhodey, who is the essentially the side protagonist among our heroes, is I thought it was really good, and I think he's probably out of the two kids, I forgot what their names were, and Melissa Shield. I honestly think he's probably the best side character to the main cast. From the standpoint, his backstory is very emotional, very sad, and he's a character. The more he gets to understand characters like Deku, he actually starts to open up and become a really great character. I think, yeah, like I said, out of all the side characters, out of Melissa Shield and the two kids from Heroes Rising, I think Rhodey is the best character, the best side character in the three films. And personally, how I rank them, I like Rhodey first. I love Melissa Shield. Melissa Shield's a nice second, and the kids, I do like the kids. from Heroes Rising. I don't think they're an annoying anime type of kid, stuff. I think they're good. I just don't. They're just not high on my list. It's Rhodey, Melissa Shield, um, and the kids. Mostly, I put Melissa Shield, um, second because I just like the fact that she's quirkless essentially, and she's like Deku and she can relate to Deku and stuff like that. Even though the kids in their aspect relates to Deku and Bakugo from the standpoint of their personalities, but the thing is, I like Rhodey and his relationship with Deku he has in this film, and I thought he was a great character. I'll talk more about him in the spoilers section. Fleck Turn in terms of him, who because he's the main bad guy villain of the film. I thought he was all right. He's not the best villain, nor is he the worst. Out of the three movie villains, he's probably my second favorite one. Obviously Nine was crazy as is, and I can understand how he is. I thought he was a great villain. I thought Fleck Turner was all right. He had something unique to him, but at the same time also was kind of like the first villain. I think his name was Wolfham. I forgot what the first villain's name was. But like I said, Fleck Turner, I felt like there were some elements to him that were unique, but there were other elements to him where it's like, okay, you're just kind of generic, just a generic villain, and stuff like that. So yeah, again, I'll talk more about Fleck Turn in my spoiler section. I will kind of say, Fleck Turn, he's somewhat, kind of, I guess, kind of disappointed me a bit. Maybe I must have had my bar too high because he looked like his design looks badass. He looks like a badass villain. And he looks like, oh, this guy's gonna go ape shit. But I'll say this in terms of not giving spoilers. I just thought he was a fine villain, nothing too groundbreaking to say the least. But yeah, I thought the side antagonists, I thought they were all cool in their own unique ways. I think what a lot of people are gonna bring out is the Archer girl, which her name, if when I pull up the cast list, her name was Bellows. I think a lot of people like her. Like from what I've seen, a lot of people I feel like gonna like her because she's cool, and then a lot of people I feel like are saying, "Oh, she's waifu material." I'm not gonna lie, she's freaking hot as hell. And she also reminds me of a character from the My Hero Academia manga, that will probably make an appearance, I believe, maybe next season in season 6. I don't know if that will happen, but for people who read the manga My Hero Academia, you probably know who I'm talking about. It was the one new character that everybody was freaking talking about of how cool that character was, stuff like that. But yeah, I thought all the side antagonists were pretty cool. They didn't really have individual characters. They were just kind of there for action purposes and stuff like that, and everything. I will say the thing is, to Class 1A, they do make appearances in this film. They just don't do as much as they did, say, in the last film, mostly because each character is stationed in a different country and everything. But yeah, I thought the music was good, and stuff like that. I thought the story was good for what a My Hero Academia story is. It's just overcoming this evil threat, and stuff like that. But I thought that was it. But other than that, I feel like that's kind of it. What I could to say with not spoiler stuff. Everything else is probably spoilers, and everything. But yeah, that's kind of what I gotta say for my non-spoiler. But again, like I said, I did enjoy this. Um, and I had a blast. Again, I'm seeing it a second time, so I'm gonna probably have a finalized thought on what I like more, what movie I like more. But honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, I do like World Heroes Mission. I think I still like My Hero Academia Heroes Rising a little bit more from the standpoint. It was all a class A, class 1A working together to overcome this looming threat, this dangerous threat in Nine and his foes, and they had literally no backup, no pro heroes to come save them. They had to do this on their own and stuff like that. And I know the ending of the movie is quite controversial of how it ended, but I just like the standpoint that in that film we got to see Class 1A mature and do what they want to do, and that's be heroes and do it on their own. and stuff like that, which I definitely enjoyed that film. That's why I like that movie a lot more, or a little bit more than World Heroes Mission. Not to say that World Hero Mission is a bad movie. I still enjoyed it. I think I just prefer Heroes Rising a little bit more than um World Heroes Mission. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get to my spoilers section. So if you guys have seen the movie, you can go to the spoiler section and get my thoughts. If you haven't seen the movie, I would advise you click off the video and hopefully you can get a ticket to go see this film um at your local theater or wherever they have it at your theater. And come back and check out my spoilers reviews unless you just don't care and you want to hear the spoilers and everything. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I'll see you guys in the spoiler section if you are gonna see the spoilers. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, guys, later. Peace. Hey guys, I'm back with the spoilers discussion of My Hero Academia World Heroes Mission. So essentially, the story kind of starts off with Fleck Turner, and getting into Fleck Turner, his whole ideology is the fact that he has the book of the Quirk Doomsday Theory, which has been a prevalent concept or story point in the main series of My Hero Academia, of the standpoint where it was created by Dr. Ujiko, at the standpoint that with each passing generation, quirks are getting stronger, and the fact that is, eventually going to get to a point where quirks become so strong that that user won't even be able to control their own quirk power. And essentially, Fleck Turner's type of thing is he's in this group called what's this group? I think it's called Human Rise or something like that. It's a terrorist like group type of thing, and essentially they're Fleck turns against the whole people having quirks, and he wants people without quirks to be the dominant species on the planet. Um, and I guess you can say he's kind of afraid of the fact that, oh, these quirks are getting stronger with each passing generation, and stuff like that. And if it comes to the point, somebody won't be able to control their quirk, and stuff like that. So he has these bombs that are stationed in the world, but when you start the movie up, he has these bombs where it blows up in this one city, and we see how people's quirks that they have just, I guess, go haywire. And essentially we're led to believe that essentially with this bomb, it makes their quirks go haywire into damn near essentially either badly injuring these people or damn near killing them. And you see, and it's freaking crazy and stuff like that. Now, at first, I'm like, oh, is this how they're gonna blame Deku, for being the whole fugitive? Because we saw from the trailers that he's a fugitive in the run. Now, we'll get to that later and an understanding and stuff like that. But that's how the thing. But again, like I said in my non-spoiler review, each of the characters, with a few class 1A characters being sidelined in this film, are in different locations around the world. And stuff like that. And one thing I will say is they did show concept art to some of the newer heroes we would see from around the world. But another thing I'm kind of disappointed about, and I know again the movie is like about an hour or two long. It's not really. I don't think it's 2 hours long. I think it's about an hour and 35 minutes long. I think that's what they said. It's felt like it was 2 hours long, to be honest. But the one I know it's an hour movie, but it's like the say the Egyptian hero, I think his name is Salamis or something like that, and then that Australian hero they showed in the concept art before this movie came out. It's like, oh, are these characters going to be something not integral to the part, but they're going to make appearances where it's like, okay, they're going to interact with maybe some of our characters we see. And to be honest, they kind of just don't do much of anything. Like literally the Egyptian hero, he's just kind of running around in the climax of the film, showing off to some class A Monetta's group that he's super freaking fast, and it's like, that's it. Okay, well, what's the waste of that? Now, I will say they make a cameo in the manga later on, so will we see that in the anime at some point? Yes, we probably will, but it's like, Why are you gonna make concept art for these things? Now, again, like I said, it's pretty cool to see these heroes from these different countries. I kind of do wish they did a little bit more with them, and stuff like that. So yeah, but essentially, like Deku's group, Deku, because this obviously this movie ties into the whole Endeavor Agency arc standpoint. Um, so definitely either this movie, either if we're gonna take it in timeline purpose, because we don't know if the My Hero Academia movies are freaking canon. Like, even there's a question to this day: are the movies canon to the main storyline? I don't know. So that's the thing. This movie either takes place sometime during the Endeavor Agency arc, or after, or sometime after, um, their Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki do their full-time internships and stuff like that, and they always just go over the weekend to be under Endeavor to teach them new things and stuff like that. But it would fit in that timeline whole thing. But they're going over to a country that's like damn near, I essentially stationed in, like, I would say probably somewhere in Europe. It's like they look like they're like in some, like, either it's not, I wouldn't say England. It looks like it's England, but it looks more like Italy or something like that. Um I forgot what the city name was called they were stationed in, but yeah, that whole thing is there and they're stationed there. And they're just doing hero work, and the first, like, low-key mission is trying to find Fleck Turn and stop Human Rise from doing that. But they go on this mission, it kind of fails because, well, he's not there and stuff like that. So yeah, but let me get into Rhodey's character. So Rhodey's character essentially is like a cat burglar. He's like a petty thief, and essentially he does these jobs to steal this whole thing. So when we cut later into the film, he essentially is working with some cohorts, and he gets this briefcase with these very rich diamonds that he has to bring back to the person who will give him the money. Now we find out that Rhodey has a little sister and a little brother who he has to take care of all by himself, and that's why he does kind of these crime jobs to pay to help. I get literally just put food on the table. So he's already relatable from the standpoint. He's doing whatever he can to provide for his family, even if it's becoming a criminal. But you see how, in this film, his character arc is, shifting from that life of crime or being a petty criminal to understanding what it's like to actually do good, and stuff like that. And I definitely did like the whole, chase scene with him and Deku, and stuff like that. And it was very funny. I definitely like the whole part where they're kind of like, oh, and stuff like that. So that's definitely funny. But what happens is, in this whole thing, is we see obviously Belios actually chase this guy who was working in Human Rise. And he's trying to escape, and he's trying to get this information to the heroes. He's like, I got to get this information because they need to know about this. But Belios attacks him on the highway, and what happens is, Rhodey is near this whole incident. What happens is the briefcase the guy was carrying and Rhodey accidentally, get mixed up. Rhodey actually takes the briefcase he had, and he takes it. And Belios, when she thinks she has that, she sees that she's got the diamonds and stuff like that. In the meantime, when Deku finally catches up with Rhodey after chasing him for quite a while, the police confront them, and the police tell Rhodey, like, you need to hand over the briefcase right now, and otherwise you're have lethal force. No, Deku, he saves Rhodey at first, because he's like, why are the cops using lethal force from the jump? Shouldn't they just take him in and ask him some questions and stuff like that? But it presumes it makes Deku have to, with Rhodey, run away and escape the police, and that's how we kind of find out how Deku is wanted as essentially was essentially wanted as a fugitive because he's on the run. And then two, we later find out the police are essentially corrupt policemen that work for Human Rise and work under Fleck Turn, and they give this BS story of saying that Deku killed 12 people, and that's how Deku essentially is a fugitive. Now when everybody gets this news, Endeavor and the other class 1A students don't believe Deku would do something like that because they know Deku very well and everything. So yeah, and that's when Bakugo and Todoroki decide to go after them. Now Deku kind of sends a message, like a little Morse code message, which I found funny how when should Bakugo and Todoroki eventually meet up with Deku later around the middle part of the film. I love that whole callback to season 2 where Todoroki's like, freaking Midoriya, your freaking codes still to this day don't make sense. Like he says, he like Todoroki even says like, man, and it was like he's like Midoriya in Hosu City, you're not good at making these secret messages, and you still ain't good at doing it now. And stuff like that, which I definitely was cracking up in the theater. And I was like, this man is like literally calling back to events from season 2 of My Hero Academia, and he's like, you still send piss poor at freaking messages. But he sends essentially this message chain. Deku and Rhodey are gonna go to essentially this neighboring country to get out of Dodge, so then the police can't track him because it's out of their jurisdiction, and stuff like that. And that's when Bakugo and Todoroki are going after him, are going after them so they can catch up with them and see it. And that's when we kind of get the whole bonding scene between Deku and Rhodey. Now I know this movie was kind of advertised with the especially like the first advertisations with this film, that is going to be centered around Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki. And when it comes to the final like climax of the film, yes, I would agree. But this movie is kind of centered around Deku and Rhodey and their relationship. I would say more than the new big three, being featured on the film, even though they're in this film and they all do some pretty badass stuff, and everything. So yeah, and throughout this whole scene, we get Deku understands Rhodey a little bit more, and Rhodey understands Deku a bit more, and stuff like that. What happens is eventually they're sleeping in this barn. Rhodey gets the idea to call the cops, and give them the briefcase, but we already know that the cops are essentially corrupt cops. So they send obviously this metal giant. They send obviously Fleck turns to minions, Belios and some other guy with like freaking Kaido's freaking spike clubs or something like that, from One Piece. And Deku manages to save Rhodey, but he takes one of Barrios's arrows to the chest, but it isn't too bad of a wound because his phone actually protected him, but he still gets pretty cut pretty badly. And when they escape, eventually they get into this cave, and Deku and Rhodey understand a little bit more of each other, and stuff like that. And how Deku says like, I always want to be a hero like All Might and stuff like that. And Rhodey gets a more understanding of who Deku truly is as a character and everything. And that's when he sees like, this kid's freaking different and everything. We also find out Rhodey's backstory with the fact that, well, what happened is the reason why he only lives with his brother and his sister is because his dad actually, entered Human Rise, and essentially people in his circle, in Rhodey's circle, turned away from him, and they didn't support their family anymore because, well, his father's working for a terrorist organization. Ever since then, he's been taking care of his brother and his sister, and Dick obviously feels for him, and stuff like that. But by the time the cave scene happens, Rhodey understands Deku a lot more, and he knows that, okay, yeah, Deku, he isn't the type of hero that's type of fake type of guy. He's a legit good guy. He's a good hero and everything. And I do like the relationship. It reminds me of the relationship from My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, between when we see the flashbacks of Prime All Might when he had his relationship with David Shield. I'm like, it has given me those All Might David Shield vibes, where it's Deku and Rhodey, two characters that are great, that click. They don't see eye to eye, but they click and they have a great bond with each other. You get this nice little montage scene where they're traveling. Anyways, they get to the cliffs, this cliff area, and they see that they have to find a way to, get past these people. Eventually, what happens is Belios and this other guy with these big giant metal balls, he's throwing down, is attacking them. And eventually Deku's having trouble escaping them. But then all of a sudden, Bakugo and Todoroki come in to save the day. They help out. The animation in this whole fight scene was freaking insane and everything. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. But the one thing is, you know, we find out that, well, these people of human rights are very loyal to their cause, and they actually, well, we see Bellius actually kill herself, um, because she's not trying to expose or say anything where their boss is at and what their true plan is and stuff like that. And she literally drops out of her airplane and she kills herself, and stuff like that, which is pretty wild to say the least. Eventually, what happens is, um, Deku, Bakugo, Rody, and Todoroki, they go to this hotel because eventually what happens is they break this code sealed, which we see that Rody's dad, actually it was like this little puzzle, and Rody remembers that he does it, and there's this like little microchip. They go to this hotel, put the microchip in, and essentially we see a recording of how the same guy, who was running with the briefcase in the first half of the movie, was saying like, the thing is, we need, I need to give this to the villain, that are not to the villains, the heroes, because Human Rises has bombs stationed damn near around the world, and what their whole operation was to lure the heroes in these designated spots and blow up these bombs that we saw at the start of the movie, and essentially wipe all the heroes from existence and kill them. And heck, funny enough, we get a very graphic scene of like all the pro heroes, um because obviously this character is explaining like how bad Fleck Turner is, and we see this whole thing where Fleck Turner standing over like various dead bodies of heroes we know and see, and even some class 1A characters we see, and it's like, it takes me back to that like one scene from Avengers, Infinity War, or not Infinity, I guess you can say something like Infinity War, Age of Ultron, where you saw where Tony had that vision and he saw like all the Avengers dead, essentially, almost something like that, which was foreshadowing to Thanos potentially taking them out. That's how that scene reminded me of. So eventually Bakugo, Deku, and Todoroki, you know, and what happens is Fleck turns like, well, we need to let the people know. So essentially what happens is, there's all these bomb that releases over the place where these heroes are stationed, and the heroes got 2 hours to find these bombs and get them out of harm's way before they blow and everything. Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki all come up with the idea, like, we gotta take the fight to them. We gotta find their home base. We gotta find Fleck Turner's home base. And Bakugo finds that home base from where the whole recording was stationed at. He finds that they go there, and they're the only three that go there now. You would think, oh, they have to call backup, but Deku's like, we can't do that. We have to do this by ourselves because all the other heroes, they're trying to get the bombs and save the people because they're doing their job. They can't just up and leave because, oh, they found the location of the main villain. So essentially Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki have to go on their own, and they have to go stop Fleck Turn, detonate the bomb. And there's this little microchip that can turn the whole detonation thing off, which is what Rhodey's father created. And we find out that Rhodey's father actually, was forced from this group because if he did disobey Fleck Turn, then Fleck Turn would kill Rhodey's family, Rhodey, and then his brother and his sister. So Rhodey's father had no choice but to give in to Fleck Turn's demands, and essentially created the failsafe to be able to stop the bomb and save everyone, which, it was an emotional story and stuff like that. So Rhodey has a purpose and he wants to go help and save the world and everything. So they get there. It was a funny scene where they drop down and everything. Then Deku and Bakugo were like, Deku and Todoroki like, Bakugo, we need you to freaking take care of those minions. And Bakugo was like, don't tell me what to fucking do, man. I know what I have to do. And he says that various times in this film, which is funny, but you get this great animation. So Bakugo's fighting some of the human rights people. And we even see that some of the human rights people do have quirks. It's just given to the cause and type of thing and stuff like that. But after, Bakugo defeats them, Bakugo then fights these twins called the Serpenters, which fucking hell were fucking crazy, and stuff like that. And essentially they have like fucking toga freaking teeth, and they're just freaking crazy. These two twin brothers, I'm guessing, with these metal freaking whips and everything. And when I tell you, honestly to God, I did like Deku versus Fleck Turn a lot in this fight. But I think my favorite fight, to be honest, in this film was probably the Serpenters versus Bakugo. Um, my God. Again, like I said, this is the part of the movie where the movie kind of gets a little bit freaking gory. And when I'm telling you, man, these dudes beat the shit out of Bakugo. They beat the shit out of Bakugo. Like, Bakugo, like, had to freaking barely beat them to do this, or to defeat them. And it was just based on his Bakugo's pure will alone. But this man was getting cut up everywhere. He was bleeding out all over the place, and and stuff like that. Bakugo had some strategy in his fight and stuff like that. Again, I do, this fight was crazy. Like having the bombs on the like the beams and thinking it's like, oh, it's okay, that's it. But then the freaking Serpenters inject trigger, which we saw from season 5, I believe, episode 17 or 8. I think it was episode 17 was the episode where it was focused around Shako and Sue and their internship they were doing. But they inject trigger into them, and they literally grow more whips from their back, and they're giving Bakugo the run for his money and everything. Eventually, Bakugo comes with a great idea to throw his gauntlets and then catch them off guard, and then he does a freaking crazy tornado like howitzer impact, and literally defeats them. It's like, oh my freaking gosh, that was great. Like, man, when I tell you this fight was gory, he was done with it. He opened up his eyes and his whole eye was like covered in blood. It was like all bloody eye and everything. I was like, they beat the shit out of him. So after he finishes off the Serpenters, he collapses. Todoroki's fight is against Leviathan. Essentially, Leviathan can control fire and water, essentially. This fight with Todoroki was kind of underwhelming, to say the least. It was probably my least favorite fight of the trio. Now I personally like his fight against Chimera in the last film more than this film. Not to say this fight was not bad. I thought the fight with Leviathan versus Todoroki was visually freaking stunning. It was one of the best animated looking fights, but it was kind of a down. Like, this fight was kind of just not as good as the Deku and Bakugo fights, because they always cut away to one of those fights mid Todoroki battle and stuff like that. Eventually, what happens is Todoroki gets the idea, because he sees that they're leading outside to a waterfall. He gets the idea to essentially control his ice to freeze Leviathan a little bit more, but Leviathan breaks through. He freaking turns into this huge fire monster that eats Todoroki. Todoroki's in him, and then Todoroki's like, okay, this fire may be a lot, but I'm gonna show you that I can truly, what my fire is truly about. And he does essentially a flash freeze type of situation, and then he has a fire fist attack, and he ends up defeating Leviathan. Again, the whole fight where he finishes him off was visually stunning, but I do think out of the trio, Todoroki had the weakest fight out of the 3. My rankings of the fight was Bakugo 1, Deku 2, and then Todoroki 3. And then as we get to the Deku fight, Deku fights against Fleck Turn, and that's when we find out Fleck Turn's quirk, and we find out his quirk is Reflect. And the reason why he's kind of also against the whole quirk thing is we kind of find out a little bit about his backstory from the standpoint that he doesn't like us because of his quirk Reflect. His parents couldn't hug him. He couldn't freaking embrace with a girl he liked, and everybody turned away from him, because we find out that whatever pressurized force you use on Fleck Turn, it just reflects back, and it's like as if you're hitting yourself, and everything. And Fleck Turn's like, I can't do nothing about this quirk. I can't shut this off. It just goes automatic, and that's why I hate freaking quirks. Again, that's why I said that Fleck Turn, he's kind of generic and everything. He's like, I watched somebody else's review. He says, his beliefs are kind of like overall the standpoint that he feels like quirks are just worthless, and they're just going to lead it to the downfall of society and everything. That's why I said he's kind of just a generic copy and paste villain with some uniqueness to him, which I really only think that is his quirk is, and stuff like that. But the fight has it to where Deku's doing everything he can. Like, he can't do regular attacks on him because he's getting reflect back. He can't do long range Air Force attacks because it gets reflected right back, and stuff like that. And in this whole fight, Fleck turns, bring out these lasers which start to impale freaking Deku and everything, and he's using the laser to reflect off his little reflect type of devices. Fleck turn, and it's like impaling Deku all over the place and everything. And that's what I'm talking about. Deku's literally laying in a puddle of his blood. He's literally laying in a puddle of his freaking blood because there's holes all over his damn chest and everything. All of a sudden, Rhodey gets involved in this fight, and he managing to hand Deku till he's managed to hand over the chip over to Fleck Turn, but Deku's like, you can't do it and everything. But Rhodey's like, sorry, man, I got to do this to save the world and stuff like that, or to save my family. Anything, my family comes over anything in the world now. We see now Rhodey has a little bird called Pino, and Pino's giving Deku like these messages, like, "Yo, come on, get back up and look." Like it's like he's like, "Get back up and start fighting him again." All of a sudden, Deku gets back up, and that's when we later find out in this whole ending scene, the standpoint that we find out that Rhodey's quirk, because he tells Midori or Deku earlier in the film, he tells Deku earlier in the film, like, don't laugh at my quirk. Essentially, we find out what his quirk is. Rhodey's quirk is the fact that Pino essentially gives off the emotions, what he's truly feeling. So he can really essentially never lie, because you could just look at Pino and that's how he truly feels. Like in the end of the movie, he looked like he felt resent. He looked like he felt like he didn't really care about Deku leaving. But when Pino was shown, Pino was crying because that's what truly Rhodey was feeling at the end of the movie and stuff like that. But that's when Deku gets back up and he starts fighting. Midway, Rhodey ends up getting impaled by one of the beams, and he's essentially crawling over to the shutdown switch. And it's like I said, again, gory, because as he's going down the stairs, you see like the blood trail all over the freaking wall and everything. So throughout the fight, obviously, Deku gives his whole typical spiel speech and stuff like that. Even though it's kind of, I guess you can say, generic in terms of what Deku says, from the standpoint, it's like, oh, like, because he's looking at his friends trying to do all his help. He's like, you see, we're heroes for this reason. We need to become heroes and stuff like that. And my friends are working their asses off and they're trying to do their job. So I got to stand up and freaking fight and defeat this villain. I guess you can say your whole typical friendship moment with My Hero Academia, at the standpoint where Deku's like, my friends are being heroes and they're doing their hero work, which means I have to get up and freaking be the hero that I'm meant to be. And I'm like, oh yeah, Deku, be the main hero, the new symbol of peace and stuff like that, and everything. And eventually Deku starts attacking him some more. And eventually, I guess, in finding out that Fleck Turner has essentially, I guess you can say, he's having a limit to how much he can reflect. And eventually, that's when Deku starts to go on the offensive, and his attacks are actually starting to affect Fleck Turn, because he can't really reflect almost damn near everything, especially if he's getting pushed to the brink. Mostly, I also kind of say it's also because the power of One for All is freaking crazy strong, and Deku, as he continuously gets up, even Fleck Turn makes a mention of the fact that Deku, the more he gets up, he's getting stronger and everything. Eventually gets to a point where Deku gives, again, you cut over to Rhodey, he passes out, and it's believed to be dead because we see Pino vanishing. It's like, oh shit, is he gonna fucking die? But cutting back to the Deku Fleck Turn match, Deku then gives his whole spiel, and he has flashbacks to All Might talking and everything and stuff like that. And that's when Deku goes beyond plus ultra, and he goes 100%. Or I guess you can say he gives the same look from season 4, the infinite 100% One for All Deku. And when I'm telling you, he goes ape shit on Fleck Turn, he goes ape shit. He does the JoJo, freaking move where he's just repeatedly punching him. I saw one reviewer, I think it was Mighty Gazelle. He pointed out that the whole rapid punching thing was a callback to All Might when he fought the Nomu back in season 1, when All Might was repeatedly punching the Nomu over and over, so the Nomu couldn't be able to re-heal the damages suffered from All Might, and he overdid his re-healing process. And that's what Deku did, and it was freaking crazy. It's crazy. When I tell you, when Deku goes 100% one for all here in this scene, it is visually freaking stunning. And Deku ends up defeating Fleck Turner using a United States of Smash and stuff like that. He ends up running and it's looking like the bombs are going to go off within mere seconds, but surprisingly or shockingly, Pino managed to put the device in, and guess what? The world say the bombs don't detonate, and yeah, so Fleck Turner and the other members of Human Rise are all arrested. The film ends off with essentially Deku and Rhodey saying their goodbyes. Like I said earlier, how the fact that Rhodey was trying his hardest not to be all emotional or sad, but Pino was giving away that, yeah, he's very emotional. I like the whole thing where Deku gives him a hug and stuff like that. And that's what I'm telling you. I really like this relation between Deku and Rhodey really gave me vibes of All Might and David Shield from Two Heroes, where it's these two characters, from different countries connecting and stuff like that. I do like the fact how Rhodey's like, listen, man, stay in your own damn jurisdiction, which is Japan and everything. So I really definitely did like that. They give a nice embrace of a hug, and they hope to see each other again. If Rhodey ever comes in the main canon of freaking My Hero Academia, that would be dope as shit. I would say that. I could see the anime making a cameo in the future if My Hero Academia ever decides to go to where they have Deku and the others decide to go to a different country or something like that. Or with what we see is with Shigaraki going on, the whole aspect of could this impact the world and everything and stuff like that. And yeah, but the movie credits end where Rhodey essentially, he wants a new way to provide for his family, and he works at the guy's restaurant, little shop area and stuff like that. And so he's providing for his family. Deku and the other Class 1A members all go from their station points back to Class 1A, and that's kind of how the movie ends off. And yeah, again, like I said, I thought this movie was good. I enjoyed this film. Again, it's your typical, main heroes got to stop the main bad guy from unleashing this devastating weapon or this devastating attack that could kill millions of people and stuff like that, and things like that. But I definitely did enjoy this. I thought Rhodey as a character was great. I liked the fights. And yeah, I definitely enjoyed this film a lot, and I can't wait to see it again in theaters. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of it. So if you guys like this video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on My Hero Academia World Mission. Did you like it? Did you not like it? And then I guess what are your rankings for the 3 My Hero Academia movies, which are My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, Heroes Rising, and now World Heroes Mission. But other than that, I'm a guy for guys. So again, that's it for My Hero Academia content, unless you check out my manga reviews. But in terms of the anime, that is it till season 6 gets an announcement. And I'll probably only do a season 6 announcement in terms of the release date when it's going to come out. But other than that, yeah. And if you want to know who I saw the movie with, I actually saw it with my Hero Academia co-host, the Red Wolf. He couldn't come on the video tonight. I'm actually making this super late. By the time I'm done with this recording, it's 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so it's super late. I'm gonna try to get this up on YouTube. It's gonna be up on YouTube. Obviously, you guys are watching this now, but it's by the time I get it up, it's gonna be super damn late. But other than that, that's kind of it. But again, like I said, if you like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on anything about this movie if you've seen it, as well as hit that subscribe button if you want to get more My Hero Academia content, whether it's anime content or content about the manga. But other than that, I'm gonna get guys. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day and I'm watching on this video. Until then, guys, catch you guys later. Peace.